Hello and welcome to the Sleep with Reddit pod. My name's Rebecca. Here we read some Reddit posts, best of Redditor updates, stories, anything really that comes across Reddit that will be interesting to read. I hope you're having a good night tonight, and we read here with a slow cadence and no music, trying for a mellow vibe so that you can relax and wind down after a long hard day. Give you a little bit of company, a little bit of reflection time to just hear some stories, have a little discussion. I do ask that before you get too sleepy, you like and subscribe. Leave a little comment if you could. It would really help the channel. Let me know if there's any particular kinds of stories or subreddits you would like me to read from. We're starting with, I broke up with my girlfriend on Christmas because of her family. This is from December 27, 2020. Okay, I'm of indigenous descent. I do perform at powwows and sing too. Apparently Native American. My girlfriend is white, so is her family, except for her brother-in-law. He's African American. This is my first Christmas with them and my girlfriend. Been together a year and a half. There's that bit of backstory. So I went to girlfriend's family gathering for Christmas yesterday, and while there it comes up that I dance and sing at powwows. Conversation starts off innocent enough, but I get that feeling that people of color get sometimes when these sorts of talks come up, and I know something offensive is about to go down. There are about 15 grown people there and 4 children, so I'm fielding questions and statements like, do the words mean anything or is it just gibberish? I can hop too. How much Indian are you? Do you get money from the casino? Anyways, my girlfriend's uncle tells me to do an Indian chant and wants me to dance too. I said no. Then girlfriend's dad chimes in with, come on, do one. And then like 6 others start asking. I say it's just weird and I don't want to. Girlfriend's brother-in-law is staring at the floor, glancing over at me with a look that says, I'm so sorry. And after about 5 minutes of this, her uncle tells his kids to dance and sing like an Indian. So then there's 2 white children making Indian noises and jumping around the room. Girlfriend is laughing like WTF, and everyone is cheering for them. Me and the brother-in-law are staring in complete effing disbelief. Then they start in on me again. They can do it. Show them how it's actually done. I've had enough. I stand up and tell them I'm not their effing show monkey, and they need to be more respectful of other cultures. Girlfriend just sits there. She's been to at least 10 of my performances and claims to love my culture, and she not once defended me or it here. I look over at her and ask her to help me out here, and she sheepishly says, they're just kidding around. And I say, okay, well, I'm not kidding around when I say we're done. Her dad and uncle start saying something, and her sister says something that it's not fair, and I start walking to the bedroom to get my stuff and leave. While doing so, I forget that she drove her car, and I'm without transpo to get 4 hours to my apartment. So I suck it up, go back out there, while now ex-girlfriend's grandma is telling everyone off. She was also not happy about what transpired. She's a GD saint of a woman. I say to ex-girlfriend, you need to take me home now, please. She's crying, naturally. And her dad says, find your own way, you effing bastard. And brother-in-law stands up and says, I'll do it. His wife tells him not to, and he says something like, this was all too much, and he can't just leave me stranded. So I get into his truck, and I'm shaking. I'm still so effing pissed off. And he gets in, starts it up, and we're off. After 15 minutes down the road, he looks at me and says, bro, what the F? And we start laughing. He tells me about what happened his first time meeting that family and all the stories thereafter, and honestly, I think I dodged a bullet. So today I've been getting messages from my friends and mutual friends of my ex about how I'm an a-hole for breaking up with her in front of her family, cussing them all out, and demanding they fly me back home. Apparently, she's been feeding them all an extremely exaggerated event. One asked me if I keyed her dad's car before I left, like WTF. Anyways, I've been feeling kind of bad for dumping her in front of her family. My adrenaline is still active and my nerves are all on end. Is what I did too much? How do I get my friends to believe that what I did was justified? I know she probably didn't mean what she did, but still. She's also been texting me and trying to smooth things over, but I honestly don't see it, especially after lying to our friends. But also, part of me really does miss her. We've been holed up at my place for 11 months, getting to know almost everything about each other. I'm confused. I know me and most of her family are done. Even if we work this stuff out, it's a weird thing to love someone and then suddenly have to tell yourself that you don't anymore. A top comment says, F that noise. Her family is racist and she didn't stand up for you. You dodged a bullet. You don't owe anyone a performance, and I'd break up with somebody treating me like a dancing monkey too. The fact she doubled down and started lying about what happened shows you how much love and respect she has for you. Move on with a clear conscience and don't look back. You deserve someone who will stand up for you. Sending you love. So first off, thank you for your kind awards and stuff, the kind words, and mostly the advice. This is the update from December 31, a few days later. Second, I turned off my phone after my original post and immediately got hammered, passed out, woke up at 2 p.m. the next day, ordered some waffles, and built my dog a bed that she won't sleep in. Then got into my car, went to Best Buy to buy a PlayStation 5. They didn't have any naturally. Bought a new TV instead, got a Switch and some games, and have been living the best effing life I could possibly be living. No phone, no internet except for gaming. No social media, and honestly, no heartache. Finally turned my phone back on today to an absolute onslaught of text, missed calls, voicemails, Facebook messages, Twitter messages, and you name it. There was a message on my PlayStation from my brother even. I did respond to him to let him know I was fine and to tell our family not to worry. I was just dealing in my own way. The juicy bits are as follows. My ex is terribly sorry, and she, quote, doesn't condone what they did, but it's her family, and, quote, she didn't mean to laugh, or whatever. She keeps trying to bait me to respond with things like, what about our history? We talked about having a family. Basically trying everything. I will admit I did respond once, and I said politely, please leave me alone. What we had was great. I enjoyed every bit of it as much as you claim you did. But that was absolutely horrific to watch, and watching you laugh at it was heartbreaking and abhorrent. We have no chance after what I experienced. Hopefully that didn't paste in a weird format, but she has since messaged me a few times more than I think she finally realized it's over. Her dad or uncle, I'm honestly not sure who, texted me to apologize for what happened. I never responded, probably won't. Her grandma added me on Facebook. She's a GD sweetheart. She's like 80 and posted the night this all happened that she has never been so disappointed on a holiday. Then has been spamming the newsfeed with Indigenous history stuff and made a big long post on the anniversary of Wounded Knee that was absolutely beautiful. I'm talking with her about her granddaughter. She thinks I should give her another chance. I told her it's honestly not something I want to deal with right now. She gets it. Our friends group has basically been split down the middle. Half still think I should have waited until Christmas was over to break up. The other half just don't really give a crap anymore, I guess. There are a few friends I did explain what happened, and that went about as smooth as cropping a brick sideways. They refused to believe she would just sit there and do nothing, despite screenshots of her literally saying she was sorry for laughing and not doing anything. So they're gone, done with them. Some of my closer pals told me they never trusted her, and I asked why, and they said it's because she called fry bread lefse one time. LOL. Other than that, our friends are all filled in on what happened on both sides. Whatever they decide, it is what it is. The real hero of the situation, the brother-in-law. I showed him the post, and he had a few things to say. One, he said, F the guy who called him the N-word or something. Yeah, F that guy. 2, he says that him and his wife are actually in the middle of divorce, but we're trying to reconcile before going through with it because they have a child together. 3, he says thanks for all the MVP acknowledgement, and he says he couldn't just leave a brother hanging like that. I learned that he's a quarter Choctaw. And last, he says he hates racism as much as the next decent person, but love is a crazy, beautiful, fickle, wonderful bitch. What are you gonna do? I think that about covers most of everything. I don't expect there will be anything to update from here. Again, thanks for the kindness. You're all amazing, except that one guy. That was a very interesting, somewhat nice story in a way. I'm glad that the OP was able to resolve his situation and feel better about it? What do you think? Did he dodge a bullet? Should he have given the girlfriend another chance? It sounds like she acknowledges in a way that she shouldn't have done it, but then she doubled down and basically said, it's our history and we made plans together. She didn't seem that sorry. So we'll move on to the next story. Okay, next story is titled, Went for a tire change, found a tracker under my car, placed by my roommate. How do I go about this? This is from March 29 of 2020, so this was during the peak of COVID pandemic times. I'm a 25-year-old female. My roommate is a 34-year-old male. I moved to a new town last year, only knew one person, stayed with her for a bit until I found a house to rent, but I needed a roommate. She introduced me to a guy she worked with who also needed a roommate because he had just got a divorce. I met him first, didn't get weird vibes, seemed nice enough. About 6 months ago, he made this suggestion to be friends with benefits, and I made the stupid mistake of agreeing. We both did not want a relationship. Everything was fine until he started getting weird and staying up until I got home, questioning me about where I had been and who I was around. I then ended the hooking up, told him I didn't think it was like that. He got mad. Everything was fine for a bit until yesterday. I live in a pretty rural area where most businesses are small and family owned. Since not a lot of people are getting out, I decided to go ahead and get some new tires and support a mechanic shop I go to, since I doubt they're getting regular business at the moment. I'm there waiting when the guy comes over and tells me he wants to show me something. I'm like, okay. We go over to my car and he bends down and points under at a black box. He asks me if I know what that is and tells me it's a GPS. It took me a second to understand the implications of a GPS being under my car. I was like, so someone put that there? It's clear I have no idea why it's there, and he got actually concerned and told me if I didn't know I needed to find out. I feel so creeped out because I have no friends here. The friend I knew moved away. I only know some people at work, but we're not friends and it's been hard to meet people. There's no other way a GPS would be on my car unless my roommate put it there. Now I'm freaked out in a way I've never been, and I can't move. I'm scared to ask him about it. I have no one to stay with, no family here. What do I do? Do I just ask him about it outright? I left the GPS there because I don't want him to know that I know about it. What do I do? Relevant top comments? That is really creepy. Start planning your exit. Document everything. I would be concerned there are cameras in your bedroom and bathroom. Honestly, I would not feel safe to return home. I would immediately call police and file a report. There are devices you get from a spy store that can scan for the frequency of hidden cameras, but I would not even waste my time with that. My peace of mind would be worth a terminated lease and a breach in contract, which a police report would help you in civil court should you have to go. Run, do not walk to the nearest exit. Be specific as to how you know, not what you think or believe, but what actual proof do you have that your roommate put the GPS on your car. What I read is that some guy found something on your car. Original poster replied, it's a small magnetic tracking device. Who else would it have been? I know nobody, and this place is too rural for any kind of crime organization like stealing cars. No one would steal my 7-year-old car anyways. Maybe the car dealership put it there? I own it. I've had it for about 7 years, since I started college, paid for in cash outright. Update, March 30th, the next day. Update, kind of. I'm going to put them here. I'm still reading through the comments. Thank you guys. There's really great advice I'm going to follow. PSA, I bought my car brand new 7 years ago and paid cash for it. I've never owed anything on it. So last night I decided to subtly pack my things and plan on making the drive at some point today back to my hometown. He works during the day, but I work from home because my office is closed until at least the summer. I realized I could probably fit all my stuff in my car, and since my lease ends in May anyways, I'm just moving out. The only furniture that's mine, and not the landlord's or his, is my bed, and it's so old I think I'm just going to leave it here. I went down to the police station early this morning and had them remove it. I don't think there's much they can do besides document it. They asked me some questions, and I said I didn't know, but I know no one here and think it might be my roommate. They said it looked like a cheap one from Amazon or eBay. Excuse me, and they'll check it out. Honestly, I may just end up staying home. I miss being in a familiar place where I basically know everyone in town, and I miss my friends. Working from home for a few months might give me enough time to switch jobs. So that's all I have for now. Thank you guys. I'll try to reply to people as well. Relevant comments and additional info. Original poster replied to a comment about dealing with police. I've already gone to the police, even if I had told them, yep, totally my roommate did it, I know it. I didn't. I simply strongly suggested it. That is not grounds for someone's life to be ruined. They wouldn't even take that as a fact until it was proven. Even if they find definitive proof, I'd have to go through with pressing charges. If I did press charges, then it would be a simple misdemeanor, and at that point, if he got a misdemeanor, it would be rightly justified since it was all proven, and that's if I would even bother with charges in the first place. All of this minor things compared to if he was an insane loose cannon that could kill or hurt me if I just didn't mention his name. It's ignorant to not piece together the clues and be safe rather than sorry, instead of just saying, nope, I have no clue. Because I do have a clue, and I know it's him. I plan on asking him later today after my 8-hour drive home, so I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. Original poster added an edit update to the original post one day later, March 31st. Update since I think it'll be lost in the comments if anyone is curious. Already mentioned I went to the police and home. All settled in now. Ended up asking him about it via phone. He admitted to it. Got freaked out when I said I gave it to the police. Said he was concerned for my safety. When I would go places by myself after work. Yeah, okay. We got into a scuffle about it. He finally snapped and said that he knew I was seeing someone when I was hooking up with him. I wasn't. So yeah, my first experience was crazy, and hopefully my last. That's the end. Some commenters on this said, in reply to the roommate's comment about being concerned for safety, a commenter said, yeah, dude, we're all very concerned for her safety too. So glad she just drove home and didn't confront him. Always assumed they're going to go off the deep end. It's not safe to do otherwise, especially in a rural area. Another reply, it always kills me when the reaction to unhinged behavior is immediately confront the person alone, especially when people in the comments warn beforehand to not do it and why. So yeah, that ended better than it could have. I agree with the original poster. She was right. She did it in a very smart way. As a woman, especially, you have to be very careful. You do not want to be alone with somebody in a house, confronting them about something that they may be defensive about, mentioning going to the police, and mentioning that, you found out that they're hiding something. It could have gotten very bad from there. She already said he was being a bit weird and possessive, asking her already where she was going, who she was hanging out with. So honestly, she probably handled it the best way possible. It's good that she had it documented with police, but yeah, being safe, being low-key, leaving while he's at work, that was probably all for the best. So I commend the original poster, and I'm glad she's safe. And it's not very surprising that he actually admitted it, because people like this are very high and mighty, very confident. They think that they are doing the best for everyone around them, even when it's all just in their head. It's their own controlling behavior. So yeah, that was an interesting story. We'll move on to the next one. Next story says, my 15-year-old idiot kid got his girlfriend pregnant on purpose. The first part of the story begins April 26th of 2025. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I, 30-year-old female, have a child who is 15 male. We'll call him Ollie. Plus, I have other children aged 2, 6, 9, 11. As you can tell by my own age, I was a teen parent. I was lucky and we married at 18, still married, healthy relationship, worked our way out of a very dire situation, graduated, started a trade, etc., and we are comfortable, stable in all ways. This information is relevant. Ollie has been friends with this girl, we'll call her Bree, since he was 7 years old. Their family used to live in the same city as us and went to the same school, same friendship group. We know her parents are long-distance friends ourselves, not close friends, but say hello when the kids are on video chat. Had drinks together before. Bree's family moved to a small town 3 states away due to rental affordability. We all have talked about the rising costs of everyday life. The cost of living in the city has risen, forcing many locals out. They moved because of that and for better job opportunities 18 months ago. Since then, Ollie has been begging for us to follow, giving us a sales pitch on cheaper housing, better paying jobs, none of which fit either of our professions, the whole works. We have said no because, well, no, but even if we wanted to, our other children are in school, sports, and have friends here. Selling and buying another home, finding work outside of our skill set, or having to learn new skills. Any normal adult would understand this. He does not. Well, fast forward to Christmas. Bree's family come back to our city for a holiday, and the kids met up multiple times with each other. It was my understanding that they were always with the other kids, but obviously not, since Bree is pregnant, and I am certain it was on purpose. He has access to condoms. I don't care for opinions on that. My access was restricted, and I had him. He has had sex ed from me, my husband, school. He knows damn well how babies are made and how not to have one. Ollie now wants me to move to be with her and the baby. It's confirmed. I've talked to her parents, and I said no, I don't feel I need a reason, but he asked. You're 15. We don't have any proof of your child yet. I'm not moving us away from our lives, and you aren't going alone until you're 18. We will do a DNA test, then we will look at parenting classes, parenting plans, and topped it off with a too bad, too sad. You made your bed, now you have to sleep in it. He took that back to Bree, and now all communication between me and her parents has been cut. I'm a terrible person. My comments about the DNA test are disgusting, and it's fueling my son's hate for me. He says I am keeping him from the love of his life and future baby, using my own successful relationship as proof that it will work out. I actually don't even know if I am right or not. I'm just really upset and feel like my life I worked really hard for has been destroyed. Edited for updates to the original post to answer some questions. She is due September, around the 22nd, so no, there's no option for an abortion. I don't think that or adoption ever was. Ollie admitted it was on purpose last night. Apparently it was Bree's idea first, as a joke, that turned into a plan together. Bree's parents will only pass messages through my son, and I have heard this for myself. I stood outside the door and listened to them tell him, tell your mother, insert info below, because I know I will just go off on her about that BS still. They are talking shit about me with my kid. They are appalled I would think that way of Bree when I have known her for more than half her life and do not wish to talk to me. I will not allow him to move out there alone. There are some past issues, such as Bree breaking up with him twice in the last 18 months because she found someone that she liked more in her new town around August and October last year, the same boy. And when it ended, she came back to Ollie. Bree is a nice girl, but her behavior is toxic and has been since she was a child. Her mother and stepfather are nice, but the relationship is unstable. The house is chaos. 9 children combined, blended family, and 2/3 teens with serious mental health struggles. He would be leaving stability for chaos and no structure. I want a DNA test. I will not budge on that. I am also close to cutting his contact totally at this point because they are only empowering him and reinforcing his behavior towards me and his father. His father is a man of few words, which is unhelpful. So far he's backed everything I have said and only really chosen to say, "You have the intelligence of a pear." Update 2, May 30th. Things have gone south even further. At this point, husband and I have been blocked on all social media and numbers blocked, but the communication with Ollie has continued. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address to send an email, But before using that, I asked him to video chat Bree with me there, and then I could ask Bree to please get her parents on so I could talk to them about this and tell her that if they were going to continue to refuse, then I would be blocking all contact to Ollie and communication until this is resolved. I told Ollie this before the call. At first, he flipped out about it, but it was this or I cut communication completely. I do think he understood that it is not okay that her parents are speaking to me through minors, and he said himself he would like us to talk to each other. Bree joined the call and hung up when she saw I too was there. Ollie called back a few times and she didn't answer. She asked via text why I wanted to talk to her, and Ollie told her that I wanted to speak to her mother, and if we didn't resolve the communication issue, then all contact would be ended until her parents made contact with us and we make a plan for the next few months, including a DNA test, and then birth arrangements. Said that if the baby is his, we will travel there for the birth and the first few weeks afterwards. He told her that I personally think it probably is his baby, but I want to be sure and make sure everything is done right from the start. Well, Bree blocked him with a reply, and he is totally heartbroken, not eating, sitting in his room all day, and not mad at me, surprisingly. Very, very sorry for him and to us, sad about it all, and I think regretful. He even asked me if there was a way to undo it for himself. I haven't talked about signing over rights, a male abortion, his father called it, because I think he's just upset right now. A mutual friend of Bree and Ollie here in our hometown showed him a few posts she has made in the last 24 hours. Things like, "It's you and me against the world, baby girl," and memes about deadbeat dads. She also announced the pregnancy, which she hadn't done yet, and the post had some single mother facts and quotes. Ollie's friends knew about the situation, and a few were under the impression he had dumped her and the baby, going by the posts. But when he explained what had happened, they all rallied for him in the comments. I said not to, and now she's blocked them too, and we can't see what she has posted. This is just a nightmare. I have had a plan personally, not set, but something I wanted to talk to her parents about, but I don't even want to waste any time at this point. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email to send an email. Basically, Bree does DNA blood test. We will pay the full $1,500 for it. If it is his baby, we can book flights and plan to be there for the first month. I'll stay too with Ollie, maybe even the whole family. And then we can also work on a parenting plan and getting into mediation for a judge to sign off on it. Ollie's father and I split for the first 7 months of his life, so we have done this before and we know the process. But at this point, I think I will just leave it to settle before sending an email. Update 3, June 3rd, 4 days later from Update 2. Someone suggested I repost the update because they didn't see it until now, so I am. They found the pregnancy announcement post, and if you scrolled across, it showed a digital copy of the scan Bree sent us at 16 weeks. Apparently, the first scan she had at the OB that is dated 4/4 and clearly says gestational age 19 plus 3 weeks, making an August due date, I believe a very early September. This would not line up with the due date given to us, but does line up with when her parents told me she was pregnant mid-April. They told us we've had the pregnancy confirmed and sent a photo of the printed pic, which the date is on there. I actually think it may have been cut off of the top on purpose. I haven't told Ollie this yet because I want to be sure. I am very concerned about his mental health at the moment and taking that into consideration. But unless she gave the wrong period dates and the baby measured only 16 weeks, then it's not possible for it to be our son's. Also added information, her due date from what we know of September 22nd. She was here from December 20th to January 7th and saw Ollie December 21st and 22nd and January 4th and 5th, never overnight. I asked Ollie when did this happen, and he said January 4th was the only time, which makes much more sense as they were in public gatherings otherwise. They were at a mutual friend's birthday that night, but never stayed overnight. I have had 5 kids, and I know the dates are too close to figure it out that way.
Ollie also said that the joke Bree made was to just see if it happens, the pregnancy, because then it's obviously meant to be and he would be able to move. To me, it sounds like she had the plan a lot longer, but I may be biased here. Editor's note: original poster made a separate update for the June 25th update, but it was removed, later reinstalled to the first update. I spoke to Bree's biological father, who lives in this town, who had no idea about any of this. Before you come for me, there was no known domestic violence or anything. I felt I had to run out of options at this point, and I just wanted a way to contact them. Bree's mother then made contact, agreed to the blood test if we paid for it. Ollie and Bree spoke again, and Bree asked to come here for a holiday and have an ultrasound with him to prove the dates in person. I agreed to this, but I may not be thinking straight with the stress we have all been under. She says she is 26 weeks, sent him a photo of her belly, which has grown, and told him there is no other option but him to be the father, that the ultrasound had to go by her last period date, and she didn't remember, so she went by her app, and it was the period before. That's why the dates are out of scan. I asked if she had a physical booklet of pregnancy notes or something, because I know from experience that they have all the confirmed information on them, but she said everything is digital with her doctor, and I didn't want to push because it's not my medical info. I'm wondering if I do just fly her out here on my own terms. Her mother agreed, and do the blood and ultrasound here and put an end to it all. Update 5, June 25, 2025. We all come to a travel arrangement. We paid for Bree to fly out, and her father was paying for the ticket home. Bree was supposed to fly to us this morning and stay for 6 weeks total, flying back sometime in August. Her father's in charge of that. She was staying with us over these next few weeks while we do our annual 4th of July family vacation for a week, and then a couple more weeks back here at home for the ultrasound blood test. This was decided together, both families, because Bree and Ollie would like to have some kind of positive experience, memories during the pregnancy, and obviously if baby wasn't his, Bree would be taken to her father's, and we would be finished with it all. But she never turned up for her flight. She texted the night before that the doctor did not recommend she should not travel as she is at risk of preterm labor due to her age and her severe morning sickness. It makes her only able to tolerate pineapple juice, so she is needed to be hospitalized and maybe even deliver early. This is on top of a group photo that included Bree, obviously pregnant, in a tight t-shirt, hugging the boy she was dating in her new town, his hand on her belly. It was quickly removed from her story when Ollie asked. I think it was intentional to make him jealous. I am done. I do not believe her or her parents. I have contacted a lawyer and a therapist. I will not be updating again until I know the outcome of the DNA test that I assume will not be done until after the baby is born, since I was told today I cannot force her to have it while she's pregnant. If this baby is Ollie's and my grandchild, I am willing to move Bree here and have her live with us. It has no chance and will continue to ruin my son's life from afar. July 13th, 2025, almost 3 weeks later. I didn't plan on updating prior to the DNA test, but I can confidently say we do not need to know the truth. We will likely still do one if Bree sticks to her story. Only I will go through the courts at this point. We have a family lawyer, and he has advised us these updates are fine as long as I do not identify anybody by name or location, etc. I had a lot of helpful messages on here, and I do read them all, even if I don't reply. One was from a radiographer who suggested that I look at the measurements of the baby on the ultrasound, if I am able to get scan pictures, and then use that to calculate if the baby was 16 weeks on the scan. I have kept that idea in mind if I ever got the chance to see the scan myself. The same Redditor also raised concerns that she only had this one scan at 16 weeks, and there wasn't a 20-week scan, again 4 weeks later. All OBs would do a scan at 18 to 22 weeks. The one photo we have seen is a photo of a scan, a profile shot of the baby's face at, quote, 16 weeks, and there hasn't been another scan since then. We have been playing it safe and being very careful with how we tread around Bree, not wanting to cause any arguments. We have not mentioned this to them yet, and if by chance someone tells them via this post, or they know about this post, we don't care. We have nothing to lose since the baby isn't Ollie's, and this is how I know. Bree and Ollie have many mutual friends, but only one other girl, Hannah, who is still friends with both of them from within the group. Hannah believes Ollie is the father because that's what Bree says, but she had a falling out with Bree this week. It led to her talking to Ollie, and then she sent Ollie a video that Bree sent her after the ultrasound in April. Prior to this, Bree had told her not to show him because he wasn't going to be in the baby's life by choice, and all the things she was posting about deadbeat dads. The video shows multiple measurements being done, and I was able to see clearly that the baby measured 19 weeks and that the scan was the 20-week scan. There is no way that baby is Ollie's. She is due August 26th. Ollie knows all of this and is doing okay. Very angry, but he has the support he needs. What happens now, we don't know, but we know the truth. All we can do is speculate as to why my son was the target of this plan. I know we will likely never know the truth. To clear some things up, I will not be taking this up with Bree and her family until after the baby is born. I am not concerned about the DNA test results, but will still do it. In the video, the OB nurse, whoever it was, doing the scan says, "Your due date is August 26th, which lines up perfect for your last period." So I know that's the due date, and you can clearly see the numbers on the screen showing the measurements are 18 to 19 weeks. Ollie cannot be the father. She wasn't even in the state. There's plenty of other more detailed clues I have, but will not post. I think the father is the boyfriend in that town, but what I don't understand is why Ollie was... Yes, there is more money, but we aren't rich. We just live smart. Thanks for the support. Update 7, September 6, 2025, nearly 2 months later. We have a baby. Baby K was born September 1st, 2025, 8 pounds 4 ounces. She was induced for being post her due date. Ollie visited a few hours after birth with me. Her mother and sister were there when we asked to visit, but were gone when we got there. The whiteboard on the wall that had all the birth details also stated that her expected due date was 8/26. Ollie didn't say much. He's very receptive to the fact that the baby is most likely not his, and he's still in therapy. But I think he loves Bree, and I'm not sure how to navigate that. Ollie went down to the cafe to get her something to eat, as her mother had apparently forgotten to bring food. Since it was just us, I took my chance. I asked her about her expected due date on the board, nicely. I told her no one is upset with her. I am too wary about the possibility that the home situation is unsafe, and she may be trying to escape. I told her Ollie knows already. He has for months. He's not angry. He is worried, and even knowing she lied, he wanted to come here and be with her and the baby. I told her what I know to be the truth as his mother. There was nothing Bree could do that would keep him angry enough to cut her off. She broke. I think it was the fact she was so tired and had just had a baby, the hormones and probably mental load that come with her lies. I feel a little bad, but I'm glad I asked. Bree admitted to me she knows it's not possible, and she was very, very sorry. She wanted to move back to our city. She didn't want to live with her mother and stepfather anymore. In fact, she never wanted to leave, and her dad had said no, she couldn't live with him. The pregnancy never planned originally, but she came up with the idea herself when she found out they were coming back for the holidays. I asked who the baby's father was, and she never got to give me an answer, but I think it's the boy from her town. I had asked that directly, and she shrugged, but no confirmation as Ollie came back and she shut down again. I told Ollie that Bree had made a mistake, and she was sorry, and Ollie said he knew, and it was okay, that the baby was cute regardless, which I laughed at the ridiculousness that is my life. What a childish thing to say. I didn't ask her about her mother knowing or anything. I was cautious not to set her usual defensiveness off. We left not long after, and Ollie and Bree are still talking via text. Ollie right now has asked me not to ask for the DNA test, as Bree is struggling with her own mental health, like most of us do with the hormone shift. That's all I have to update on. Some relevant top comments. Commenter 1. In your last post, you mentioned you'd still do a DNA test to clarify. Is that still in the plans after her confession? And I assume you managed to get last-minute plane tickets to get there a few hours after birth, or you took a super long drive. Being a parent is never an easy job, not even when they've grown up. You're doing good supporting and protecting your son. Take care. Original poster responded, "We knew her induction date and flew out 2 days prior. I'm not sure on the DNA stuff right now. Ollie wants to leave it as long as she tells everyone it wasn't his baby. For now, I am just letting things be. I think she is really struggling. Is there any chance that the child could be the stepdad's? A lot of people say this, and no, we do not believe that is the case. There's a lot of evidence that the baby is the other ex-boyfriend's." Comment number 2, it might help to talk to Ollie about love. We often sit our foster kids down and talk to them about love because they have obvious trauma and confusion. If I really love my parents, then I can't care about my foster parents or my foster family, etc. Ollie loves her, and that's okay. He's young, and it's really hard for him because he feels like she is his soulmate, and that he will never love another person the way he loves her. This is true. The way we love someone is individual to that person. But love is not finite. Love is generous. We can love many people. We ask our foster kids to make a list of all the people they love, like mom, dad, siblings, grandparents, friends, pets. We even encourage them to add things like internet people and sites and games and toys. It's typically not hard to get them to make a list. Most of them are able to put it together at least 10 things quickly. Although we do give them examples like mom and dad, pets and toys. Wow, look at how much love you have. This leads to complex conversations because of situations that create foster kids. But for Ollie, this leads to the conversation that the love he has for the different things on his list are different. It's possible that he may even be able to differentiate between them, the way he loves his dad and the way he loves his mom. I love the way dad does this for me. Things like teaching him how to dunk a basketball or hugs for him when he's sick. Talk to him about how now he loves Bob, his best friend, and how his best friend used to be Adam. Does he still love Adam? He may still, but talk to him about how maybe that love has changed over time. That's a beautiful sentiment. It's definitely a blessing as a teen mom to be post-induced rather than an early induction due to her age. This is from commenter number 3. I hope everyone is doing well, especially your son. I can't imagine he could be feeling, even if he is still contacting Bree. I can't imagine how he could be feeling, even if he is still contacting Bree. Big props to you, Mom, for doing your best to stay steady through the whole situation. New update. We did the DNA test and Bree left home October 10th, 2025. Bree and baby didn't do their test until last week. There were a few excuses, but honestly, most were reasonable, one being that the other boy refused to come and do a test as well. I found out that he's 17, already has a child with another girl in that town, who he also refused to do a test for. That other girl was contacted by Bree and willing to do DNA on her baby, who is only 5 months old, to see that they are siblings. Our DNA test came back as expected yesterday. Ollie is not the father. We don't know about the other results, if they are back yet or if they are positive, or if they were even done. Ollie and Bree have drifted since last month. He is focusing on school and sports. He has a new girlfriend, which we do not appreciate at first. He had hidden it from us until his therapist spoke to us about it. He showed his friends the test results in hopes it would get back to their parents too, but it seems his reputation has been tainted. Bree moved out of home 3 weeks after the baby was born. I'm unsure where to exactly, but she is living with a friend and her mom in her town. Her mother and stepfather kicked her out apparently, and her bio father does not have stable housing for children. What a shitstorm this has been. Ollie turns 16 this month, and I'm hoping this is all behind us for now. Top comments. Commenter 1. Who did she put on the birth certificate as the father? Original poster says, I don't believe anyone. It wasn't Ollie. Commenter 2. Your son is incredibly lucky to have had you stand up for him as you had through this whole ordeal. But I also feel really bad for the young lady going through all this without parental support. Yes, I agree. that is the end of this long story. Thank you for sticking with me on it. That's very sad. It started in the beginning as feeling as a bit of juicy gossip about this story. Teen pregnancy, drama, a false accusation of parentage, saying it's this Ollie boy when it's really another boy. But when we started getting down into the details of how the girl lies and her bad home life and her dad not letting her live with her, it just made me really sad, because these are really just kids. These are 15-year-old kids. It's got to be really scary for them. They're making crazy choices. So yeah, I feel glad, I guess, for Ollie that his life was not upended after all, that he's not going to face the ramifications of these actions for the rest of his life, and hopefully he's learned a good lesson from this. But I feel bad for Bree and her baby. I feel bad for their unstable home situation, and it looks like they both have a really tough road ahead. So yeah, that's the end of this story.
Okay, our final story will be a little bit more positive. Instead of personal relationships, we'll have a coworker-employee situation. It's titled, I found out that a coworker in the same position with the same education, experience, workload, etc. is making almost twice what I make. This is from August 12th, 2017, so a little bit older. I began working at a research facility last April as an administrative assistant, making $11 an hour. I was promoted to a position as a clinical research assistant in August of 2016 at $14 an hour, with promises that in a year I would have the opportunity to move up into a research coordinator position and receive a raise. Meanwhile, I received my bachelor's degree in December 2016. Fast forward to 1 year later, I have been given all of the responsibilities of not one but two coordinators, as we are very understaffed. I am working overtime each week to tackle my work. I have yet to receive a raise. At my quarterly review 2 months ago, I was told that corporate was not approving any raises at this time, and that maybe after August or so, our highest revenue season, I can expect a pay raise. Still, no title change to coordinator, despite having the work of a coordinator and being referred to as one in all company communication. So yesterday, my coworker confused in me, that's supposed to say confided in me, I'm sure, that she makes $24 an hour. She was hired 6 months after I was, and like me, had relevant work experience, but no coordinator experience. We both have bachelor's degrees. We work the same position with the same job duties. I make $14 an hour. So I guess the advice I'm looking for is how to approach my boss about this outrageous difference in pay and why I'm not being fairly compensated. My boss is very big on not disclosing pay with fellow employees, and I understand this completely. However, I did not ask my coworker how much she makes. She simply told me, and now I cannot unknow. I have never had to discuss wages with my employer, and this may not even be the best subreddit to ask, but I will take all of the advice I can get. Relevant comments, and don't forget that you don't know your coworker is telling the truth. Run a job search to see how much the market rate is for your role, but your company sounds pretty bad. Perhaps it's time to go anyways. You deserve better. The original poster states the market rate in my area is $23 to $25 an hour. Looks like it's time for a new job working for a great company and a big raise. Top comment is, in reply to this quote, I was told that corporate was not approving any raises at this time. Commenter says, and that is how you know it is time to look for a new job. You are doing the work of two coordinators, have skilled up with a new degree, are working in a place that is understaffed and where it is a very big deal from your boss for his employees to not know how much he is screwing them over. None of these are good signs. You can always discuss pay with coworkers, and you should be able to get pay commensurate with the work you are doing for the company. The place to get that, however, will be at a new company, since your current one has both told and shown you that you shouldn't expect that raise to come from them. One commenter says they are a hiring manager checking in. Your boss is a terrible manager. They should have structured a move up for you in stages according to your qualifications and your responsibility and actually acted on it. Promises are smoke. If your boss doesn't have the sway to make good on old promises, why would you think saying something now would change that? Update September 20th, 2017, over 1 month later. For those of you who read my original post, I just wanted to update. Everyone was so encouraging and supportive, I really did not expect it. After making my post, I met with my boss in order to inform her that I needed a raise. She told me she would submit a pay raise request. 1 week later, she called me into her office. She absolutely berated me for thinking I could move into the coordinator position for which I was already doing the work, and complained about my work performance. Last month, I had an evaluation and received very high praise for my performance, and there has not ever been complaints about my performance in the past. All in all, I assumed she was making excuses to not increase my pay. Fast forward a bit, and I received a text from the wife of one of my boyfriend's friends offering me a job at a rehab facility. I interviewed for the job, and they offered me a position at $20 an hour, $6 more than my current job. In the meantime, my boss called me into her office again and informed me that I was very fortunate as corporate had approved my pay increase. She stated that she truly shot for the stars when submitting my new pay, and corporate had gone above and beyond anything she'd ever thought I would receive, $17 an hour. Still $7 less than my coworker. I accepted the new job and put in my 2 weeks' notice. My boss was absolutely sideswept. She could not believe I was quitting. She waited a day and called me into her office yet again and asked me what they were offering me that was so great that I would choose to leave. I told her $20 an hour. She said, "If I can offer you that, will you stay?" Wow, and here I thought 17 was above and beyond what they could ever offer me. I told her I would think about it. In the meantime, I contacted my new employer and informed them that my current employer was offering to match their offer to keep me, and got an even bigger offer from them. I start next Monday. Thank you to Personal Finance for all your support and advice. I can't wait to start my new job. One final comment says, "Unfortunately, this happens all the time. If you don't speak up, good luck." Thank you, original poster says. I don't think I could have done it without all the people here encouraging me to. Well, that is a really positive note to end on, I think. This top comment says, "And this is why workers should talk about their salaries amongst themselves. Not disclosing how much you make only helps your employer." So yes, that's good for this. I think it was a female. Good for her. She stood up for herself. She is doing much better. So she's getting at least $20 an hour. She said they bumped it up even higher. So probably at least $21 or $22 an hour. And a place that hopefully respects her more. So just a little lesson out there. You know your worth. Speak up. She did it in a very professional way. She looked for a new job and she got it. So good for her. I'm glad we can leave this on a positive note. I hope you all have had a nice time listening to these stories. If you're still awake, please don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, anything you want to do. It would help me out. If not, just being here together and enjoying this time, I hope it's been relaxing for you. Now get some good sleep, have happy dreams, happy thoughts, and I hope to catch you on the next one. So take care. Have a good night.